Before we go any further, just want to thank all the people over on Patreon, because without their help, none of this upgraded content that you be seeing would be possible. Over on the Patreon, you get exclusive sneak peeks at upcoming videos. You also get access to the Patreon only Discord server. Coming up soon, I'm going to be working on talking about other anime that I can't talk about here on YouTube, like say ReZero, Konosuba, and etc. I'm also going to start posting the scripts for video essays, and every 3 months we do an anime and manga haul. We also are going to open up the Patreon only Discord server to YouTube members at the $2 price tier, which also means that members will be seeing their name here alongside the patron. But with that being said, let's get back into today's video. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another review for Boruto Naruto Next Generations episode 286. And now that episode 286 is done in the books, man, we got a lot to talk about, because we got to see Sasuke and Sakura go up against this EDO Tensei army, and the Sasuke Uchiha that you see in this episode looks a lot like the Sasuke that you thought you were getting when you started Boruto's anime, because in this series right here, you have Sasuke, he's using his Sharingan jutsu, he's using the Chidori Senbon, he's using the Chidori, he's weaving one-handed hand seals, firing off fire release, he's using the Rinnegan abilities. You're seeing what Sasuke can do when he's actually fighting someone who can't absorb jutsu like the Otsutsuki, or can't shrink down jutsu like Jigen and Ishiki. Essentially, Sasuke's fighting someone that doesn't hard counter his abilities, and you get to see some really cool sequences out of this. And the next thing I will say before we get into the review portion of the video itself is that this episode was exactly what I expected. You get all the action that you got from the finale of the light novel itself. However, we do get an abridged version of the whole Retsuden trilogy, because Naruto does get cured at the end of the episode itself. That's not exactly how things take place in the light novel. Naruto actually makes a boneheaded move with a polar particle that Sasuke and Sakura went through so much to try and get their hands on. Naruto pulls a typical Naruto idiot move. I won't spoil that because I'm covering the Naruto novel here on the channel, and there were some other changes that were made here. They basically told part of the epilogue for the Sasuke Retsuden novel and then kind of tied it in to where it fits in with the code arc, because Sasuke's still searching for code at the end of the episode, which we know that's going to take him to the land of snow. So it's one of those things where all of that was expected. There were some things cut out of here, like Sasuke's moment of bloodlust where he was about to pull an Itachi and basically kill Giji using genjutsu before something happens that snaps Sasuke out of his funk. So again, there were some changes made here. I'm not bashing the animators or anything like that. I've had a few people think that's what I was doing. That's not what I'm doing. That's more so me leveling a critique at the writer who handled this 5-episode mini arc, while also acknowledging that it's pretty much impossible to tell the entire story in the way that it should be done in only 5 episodes, which is why I keep stressing, if you want to know what really happens in this arc, either read the light novel or read the manga version, which goes more in depth and actually gives you the full picture of everything. Again, that's no shade to anybody working on the anime, it's just speaking on the reality of the situation. Now that that's out of the way though, the episode opens up where you got all of this chaos going on, where Sasuke sees all of these dragon beasts running around. Sasuke's taking a sword, he's hacking and slashing his way through. Minno's helping him fight. Sasuke's giving Minno the orders like, hey, you need to get these prisoners out of here, I'll take care of the rest. And from that point onward, we're going straight into the chaos. Sasuke's running into the prison, he sees all this smoke going through, he sees all this debris, he sees the dragon beast, he starts running around searching for Sakura because he sees the debris where Sakura should have been. He cuts on his Sharingan, and that's absolutely huge, because basically as Sasuke's searching for Sakura, the reason why he's got the Sharingan on is because he's searching for that ring that he gave to Sakura, because that ring is made out of chakra, and the Sharingan can see chakra as a color. A lot of people forget that, but Sharingan sees chakra as a color. That's why when the light novel was coming out years ago, I pissed off a lot of Saku fans when I made the joke that Sasuke gave Sakura that ring because it was basically a GPS tracker. I thought that was pretty funny at the time. A lot of them took that as me bashing Sakura. That was not the case, but it basically works that way because Sasuke was able to see the chakra that was emitting from the ring itself, and that's how he was able to find Sakura. So when Sakura is trying to push off those huge chunks of debris that have fallen on top of her, she's doing so with the raw strength, and you see that she's actually moving it a good bit on her own, but she can't infuse any of her chakra into her movements. And so the little bit of movement that she does alerts Sasuke to where her general vicinity is, and then that's where he sees the chakra from the ring. And so Sasuke's pulling off all the debris debris. The anime cuts out the part where Sasuke is flirting with falling into despair because he thinks that his wife is dead, and you can really see some of that PTSD that came from the Uchiha massacre, where Sasuke was running home hoping against hope that his parents weren't actually dead. Sasuke reverts back to that level of emotional thinking when he thinks that Sakura's dead. He's really freaking out, and in the novel that really pisses Sasuke off, especially when he sees Gigi. So we get this moment where Sasuke is healing Sakura and he's using medical ninjutsu, and that's the first time in the series we see Sasuke using medical ninjutsu. He's able to take care of her. The two of them then come up with a plan where they're going to go look for Gigi and they're going to go look for Zansul. Meanwhile, you got Zansul and Gigi talking, and you see that Zansul is manipulating Gigi because Zansul is like, hey, just give me the polar particle, don't worry, I'm gonna keep up my end of the bargain. We're gonna use that reanimation jutsu on the corpse of your girlfriend, no worries about that. You have Gigi saying very politely when they're talking like, hey, you should just spare the prisoners. Zansul is like, nope, I'm gonna kill him. Matter of fact, isn't that guy down there one of your cellmates? Might as well pull him out your misery. And what ends up happening is that Minnow, under the control of Sasuke, ends up saving Gano. So that was a nice little switch right there. I know a lot of you guys thought that Gano was the one that was actually the one doing the Edo Tensei and working with Zansul. That's not the case. So I did think it was cool to see that, and as well just to see the emotions as Gigi steals his heart to take out one of his cellmates. And what's also interesting about this is that when all the Edo Tensei start getting ready to gang up on Minnow, you have this huge fire style jutsu just immediately take them out, and it's because Sasuke has arrived on the battlefield. And what I like about this is that you basically see Sasuke and Minnow, they're teaming up and they're fighting their way through all of the Edo Tensei. You see Sasuke going through his ninjutsu arsenal at this point. You're seeing the Chidori, you're seeing Chidori Senbon, you're seeing variations of Chidori, fire release, Rinnegan jutsu, and Mania Teijikara. You're seeing Sasuke just go through his arsenal as he begins picking apart all these Edo Tensei. Now, I will say that it was a little bit disappointing that while we did get to see Sakura's sealing jutsu being used, we didn't get to see the sensory jutsu in older episodes, we didn't get to see the fire release, but it was kind of cool to see that they at least added some of the ninjutsu repertoire that she's added since the war in this episode. Though what we did see did come at the expense, because I remember the Sakura and Gigi stuff having a little bit more interaction, a little bit more action than what we actually got in the episode. But again, this is an abridged telling of the story. You're getting a more complete telling of the story itself if you read the manga. The anime episodes are really just a promotion for the manga, so it is what it is. Though I will say that I did think that, you know, just seeing Sakura with that sealing jutsu that she used on Gigi, that was a good usage of the move hidden behind the move. The same thing with Sasuke, utilizing that same line of thinking in order to trick Zansul, because Sasuke figured out one of the weaknesses to this incomplete Edo Tensei, and he uses Zansul's ego against him in a way to actually end up having Zansul fall to his death so Sasuke can recover the polar particle. So you're seeing some of the strategy elements that I think a lot of people enjoy about Naruto. While there's a lot of action in the episode, to just boil it down to it's just Sasuke go hack a slash and go boom boom with jutsu, and Sakura go crush crush when she starts punching the ground and punching these 2,000-pound dinosaurs all the way across the battlefield into the wall and cracking the wall. There's a lot of deception in this, even with the prime minister using Zansul to be able to deceive Gigi into working for them. A really big thing that makes Sasuke and Gigi's relationship really work in this is that both of them are experienced shinobi, and yet when it comes to the women in their lives, the women in their lives end up clouding their judgment and allowing both of them to fall prey to the deception that others are implementing on them, and they catch on to it when it's too late, which kind of goes back to one of the themes of the story, which is, can a husband and wife duo be effective on a mission? And we're seeing that while they can work together in tandem like Sasuke and Sakura are doing, there are times where that emotion does get the better of you while you're on the mission itself. It's why in the light novel, when Sasuke thinks that Sakura's dead and he's rushing towards that debris and he's dealing with all his emotions, thinking back to finding his parents dead during the Uchiha massacre, seeing them killed in front of him, Sasuke's thinking about what he'd do if Sakura wasn't there anymore. Gigi even presents the whole scenario to him of like, hey, they gave me an opportunity to bring my dead fiance back to life. Think about it for a second. If you could bring back those you cared about, wouldn't you do it? And Sasuke in the novel pauses. It's actually cut from the anime version. He pauses and thinks to himself, if he was given the opportunity, if he was pushed to that point where he could bring Sakura back to life, if Sakura was was killed in front of him or killed and he could do so, would he use Edo Tensei? And Sasuke acknowledges that Sakura and Itachi are people that if he could revive, he would actually revive them. He thinks about Itachi as an Edo Tensei, and it gives him a moment to pause. The anime doesn't show you Sasuke going through that mental gymnastics as he's thinking over everything, but the anime does do a good job with Sakura though. And that's when Sakura steps in and says that if she was in that position, she would. However, the difference with her and Gigi is that she knows that even though she would be heartbroken, she knows that number one, her friends would stop her from doing something like that, and then she also knows that Sasuke wouldn't want to be brought back as an Edo Tensei the same way that Gigi's wife wouldn't want to be brought back as an Edo Tensei as well. So we're seeing the good and the bad side of a husband and wife duo teaming up, but we're also seeing that when it comes to Sakura and Sasuke's relationship, while Sasuke struggled for a moment in the novel, again, it's cut out of the anime version, both of them understand that there are things in the relationship where no matter how much they want something for themselves, they also check that selfish nature that they have in order to make the right decision for their loved one. So I thought that this was cool that you see that, and you see that as a segue to Sasuke saying like, hey, Margot's alive, you need to read this note. Between learning about Margot being alive and Gigi acknowledging that it was foolish to try and fight an Uchiha because he knew who Sasuke was the entire time, and despite knowing that, he still tried to outsmart Sasuke and use Sakura against him to take down Sasuke, which is actually kind of smart because it shows Gigi understands that no matter how powerful somebody is, they've all got a weakness, and sometimes that weakness isn't necessarily to a jutsu. Sometimes that weakness can be a someone, which is ironic because he realizes that about Sasuke, but he doesn't realize that Zansul and the Prime Minister took advantage of that same weakness for him. And when he does realize that this is what's happened, it starts the redemption process for Gigi, and Gigi undoes the Edo Tensei, which leads to a rather emotional moment where Sasuke puts his hand on Minno's beak, and you have Minno put his claw on top of Sasuke, clearly an homage to Itachi and Sasuke's final moments before Sasuke saw Itachi go back to the Pure Land when the Edo Tensei was released. Gigi ends up sacrificing himself to save Sakura just before one of the Edo Tensei ends up trying to take a bite out of Sakura before it goes back to the Pure Land. And I can't show that scene because of YouTube's new policy on blood, but that was kind of cool to see that bit. The episode then ends off where you have an abridged telling of the ending of the story, where you have Naruto cured because of the anime original ending. You got Kakashi saying like, yep, I went through a lot too, and that's because Kakashi was fighting against 300 shinobi and mercenaries, which I'll leave the playlist for Kakashi Retsun at the end of this video so you can check that out. And you also have a moment where Sakura is thinking about what life would be like with Sasuke once she retires. You got Gigi working alongside Margot to help Prince Nanar, who's now King Nanar, rebuild the country of Radaku. Because again, Kakashi was fighting against 300 people. This wasn't animated, but it was nice to see that bit right there. Also, the way the anime just wraps everything up, where instead of showing the Uchiha family eating together with Sakura and Sasuke eating that meal that Sarada makes, they tie it back in with the Code arc where Sasuke is continuing his journey for Code. I mean, overall, for an abridged telling of the story, again, this is only 5 episodes. Realistically, if you want to capture all the key moments from the story, this really should have been between 8 and 10 episodes. This wasn't bad for what it was. I know there's some stuff that, you know, some of the Sasusaku fans are gonna be upset with, or some of the people that were looking forward to seeing some of the other jutsu that are showed in the story itself, not actually having it animated. Same with seeing some of the context, what's going on with Kakashi. But again, there's only so much you can do with 5 episodes. That's why I keep saying, if you want the full story, either read the novels or at the very least read the manga that Kimura Shingo is drawing, that comes out on Manga Plus every 2 weeks on Saturdays, because you're getting the more complete version of the Sasuke Retsun story over there. But I will say, like, the way that that manga is going to end as well is probably going to have a manga original art, or it's going to just very loosely tell you what happens at the end of Naruto Retsuden. But over here on the channel, I've covered the first 2 novels, Kakashi and Sasuke Retsuden, and I'm in the process of covering Naruto Retsuden now. So at least on my channel, you'll have the full story if you got the time to sit through the different playlists. Animation wise, I think the anime team did a good job. I thought that this is probably the best animated episode out the entire arc itself. But my episode question to you guys is, if you're somebody that is only keeping up with the anime retelling of the story, are you going to continue checking out the manga since the manga version is going to be more accurate, or are you satisfied with the anime original ending? While you think that over, click here to check out that Kakashi resting playlist for any of you guys curious about what Kakashi's doing in Radaku, or click here for this Kryptonian Saiyan video.